he told me to come in for an interview. At the time I was living in Tahoe, so I was pretty far away at the time, but I was so eager to get into the tattoo industry that I packed my family up, headed down south. My name is Alexis Vaatete, and I'm living in Orange County. I work at Vatican Studios in Lake Forest. I'm currently working on an owl with the badge mark of Sullen. Happens to be that the owl is a character part of a series that I'm working on and have been working on for the last few years. And I've had the opportunity to do an owl with the badge. It involves a fleur-de-lis, skull, the brushes, and one of my owl kings. I've been tattooing now for about 14 years. Well, technically in the industry for about 14, tattooing for 13 of them. I got into the industry just by chance. I happened to have a friend of mine come into one of my art studios at the time. I was living in Tahoe. My friend happened to have had a person working in Southern California, Franco Vescovi, looking for his first apprentice. So when he saw my artwork, he said to me he thought I should try to go out for an apprenticeship. He thought my artwork would be good as a tattoo. So he put me in contact with Franco Vescovi, put us on the phone together, and Franco and I spoke for probably about an hour or two, and we realized we kind of hit it off. He told me to come in for an interview. At the time I was living in Tahoe, so I was pretty far away at the time, but I was so eager to get into the tattoo industry that I packed my family up, headed down south. Probably about a week after we moved, had my interview with Franco, packed up all my artwork, brought it to the shop. As I was waiting for him, I was just pretty excited about the fact that I was going to get an opportunity to get in the industry. Didn't get the yes or the okay from him yet, but when he finally arrived, he took a look at my artwork. After he took a look, he just said, hey, do you want to kick it with me for the day? I said, yeah, and I've been with him ever since. You know, it was from that point on, we never separated. He mentored me for about 3 years. Eventually, I went full-time, and I've been with him ever since. And now I'm helping him manage his current shop, the Vatican Studios. You know, I had an apprenticeship where it was pretty traditional. You know, Franco himself had a traditional upbringing in the sense. He had a lot of respect for certain artists back then, Freddie McGrady, Jack Rudy, Deitch, and other artists that he had been influenced by. He had originally taught himself, and so his path was a lot longer, but he came up with some old ways that when I came into the industry and he wanted to have his first apprentice, he wanted to make sure I was taught properly. So I was fortunate for that. All his experience he passed on to me, shared with me, and I was very grateful and thankful for that. When he did his apprenticeship, he gave me an official 3-year apprenticeship. But I know they were much longer back in the day, but 3 years for me at the time seemed like a long time, but it was worth it. I think there were definitely some days where I was dreading it. It was pretty difficult, I guess, you know. Coming in, 8 in the morning, staying until sometimes 2 at night, mopping, cleaning, making needles, doing all sorts of things, running errands, kicking people out of the shop, whatever I had to do. And I wanted it, so I did it. Whatever they told me to do, I did. I appreciated the old apprenticeship, the old-fashioned apprenticeship that I received. Met a lot of good artists and got to have them share all sorts of different things with me, all their trade secrets. I wouldn't have had it any other way. If I could go back, I'd do it again. Before I became a full-time tattoo artist, I was working in casinos. I worked as a croupier, dealt cards, I was a pit boss. Worked on this Indian reservation in Northern California. I also worked in Tahoe at Caesars. While I was doing that, I was also having small art shows in local galleries, trying to get my art out there as much as I could. You know, I had been actually originally trying to get into the tattoo industry since I was a young boy. I'd been collecting magazines since I was in 6th grade, and by the time I turned 18, I attempted to try to get into some shops, but at the time the industry was pretty private. They safeguarded it as they should have. It just wasn't until I met Franco that I had my opportunity to get in the industry. I don't always do black and gray tattoos. At the moment, it seems like the people, my following, seem to be interested in my black and gray work as of late. I've done a lot of color work in my career. I was known for a while for doing colorful, glowing flowers or surreal, colorful work with orbs and some portraits in the beginning. And then I really actually think the owl thing started my whole black and gray following. After I started posting those owls, people just kept coming to me for them. That's why, as of late, I've been adding some like color pops in my my black and gray work with the turquoise, hoping that people will start to try to also get some color work from me as well. I enjoy both, actually. They're equally the same, but I think the combination of black and gray and color is probably the next area where I'm going to move to, because it gives me a little bit of both. I get to enjoy both realms. As I was growing up, I was extremely inspired by old masters. I think many artists grow up being inspired by them. Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo. Many of those artists were, I think, the beginning foundations for many people. But more of the modern artists and contemporary artists, I found myself being really attracted to, like artists like Michael Parks, Mark Ryden. And even as I transitioned to tattooing, of course, my mentor, Franco Vescovi, played a huge role. I think at the time, before I got into the industry, I was pretty focused in on certain styles. I think I would have considered myself open-minded and had a pretty large view of different styles of work, but I definitely did not. Because as I got into the tattoo industry, as he was teaching me, he exposed me to all these different styles that are in this industry that we're in. The tattoo industry is so diverse, it's eclectic, and you can learn anything from Japanese artwork to American history to surreal, fantasy, figurative drawings, and portraiture. So it was really cool to get into the tattoo industry and be exposed to all the different styles. I would say after a few years of being in the tattoo industry, I had learned so much more than I had my entire life of doing art. It makes it a lot different when you are trying to appease all the styles, opposed to just thinking of just doing one style. It's definitely a good lesson, but I appreciate those beginning lessons of all that diversity. But I've enjoyed the later years because now I'm kind of focusing in on a few different styles that I truly appreciate. The tattoo industry played a major role. And there's so much to learn in this industry, and so much more to learn. I'll continue learning. Where I see myself in 10 years? Well, hope my hands are still doing well and I'm tattooing like crazy still. Hope I'm involved with my family. Hope I have good, dear friends all around the world at that time, and producing books. And one of the biggest things I'd like to see is probably, I'd like to see myself producing more art that doesn't involve me having to work every single day. But, you know, if you do what you love, you don't work a day in your life. So I'm just a hypocrite because I love what I do. So I don't think that'll ever stop. I started with one particular owl. Gave them an identity, gave it a name, you know, called my series the Owl King series. The apprenticeship definitely took a toll on my relationship at the time. I didn't really grow up with a lot of toys around. He always handed me a pencil. I spent a lot of my time drawing. That was my pastime.